Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how we can restore an individual, first backup and restore an individual file from a virtual machine. Um, this is our recovery and storage vault, and just explaining how the setup is done. So this is my lab one, which is my resource group. It has a backup and service recovery vault, and I have a virtual machine as well called as VM003. So we are going to take a backup of one of the files inside this VM003 and store it here on this Azure backup vault. Now, if you see this, there are a lot of concepts involved here, and I'll just quickly go through what are the different steps that we have to take. Essentially, well, these are recovery. I'll probably have to go back. So essentially, there are four steps here. The first step is, of course, we have to install the Mars agent. We have to create a backup policy and schedule. Then we have to perform an on-demand backup. And there's one more step here, which is kind of missing in this documentation, is where you have to connect your agent to the cloud recovery service vault. So let's just get started. So this is my recovery services vault. It's just important note here that it should be on the same region where your virtual machine is residing. So if you are using VMs in, let's say, China North, and you want to back up VMs, let's say in China East, so that's not going to work. Both the VM and the backup and recovery service vault should be on the same region. So we'll go to backup. Now there's a question it asks that says, where is your workload running? Now, even though the virtual machine is living in Azure, if we want to do file level backup, then we have to select on-premise. Now it says, what do you want to back up? And here I will select file and folders. Now remember, there are so many options here because I have selected on-premise, so I can use Hyper-V, VMware, SQL Server, SharePoint, etc. I'll just select file and folders, and then I click on prepare the infrastructure. So if you go back to the documentation, which is here, so it says create the recovery services vault, which is pretty much what we have done. Now we'll download the Mars agent. So we'll go back. We will download the agent. Let me just close this here. So we will download the Mars agent, and as you can see, it has started downloading. Now this is called the vault credential. So how it works is that we first install the client on the machine on which we want to back up, and then we connect it to this vault, and it uses a credential which actually is this file. So just for now, I will download this file as well because we would need it once we are done with the installation. So there you go. This is the credential file, and this is the agent. Let's go back to the virtual machine now, and I will just do a remote desktop directly into this. If I can type the password correctly. Okay, looks like it has accepted my password finally. Now I will just go to the folder and do a cut. I will now paste this file. This is just a 71 MB file. And while this is happening, let's just have a look at this file itself. I'll first copy it onto the server. And well, let's install this first and then we'll see. So this is how it's installing. It needs a Visual Studio C++ redistributable, which is kind of okay. Most of the images have it anyways. So this is where it will install. It's saying the Microsoft Azure Recovery Service agent will install in following order. You should have at least 1 gig of free space, and this is the cache location. So this is where the temporary data is stored before it is sent to Azure. So I'll click next. If you want to specify a proxy settings, then this is where you specify it's the address and the port. And I'm not sure why this says you're not connected to internet, even though I am connected to this VM. I do not want to use Microsoft updates. And then these are the two dependencies, Microsoft .NET 4.5 and PowerShell, which is already installed on this Windows Server 2019 that I have. It's pretty nice and easy. If we go, it's doing the installation now. In the meantime, let's open this file and see what's in there. So there you go. This is the file where it says where is the um, what are the different endpoints. I think one of the things which is important here is that your Windows machine should be able to connect to this specific URL. There are specific URLs. If you go to this Microsoft document, um, there is information here about what all points or what all yeah, there you go. So these URLs should be allowed in your firewall, and these are the IP addresses. So make sure, if you are behind a very restrictive network, in which most likely the case is, then you allow those endpoints. Now what it is saying is, do you want to proceed with the registration? And I said yes. Now it's asking me for the vault credentials. So this is where I'll specify this file. This is my file. I'll click open. Now it is validating the credentials. It's pretty intuitive, and it's very easy to implement as well. Now this is the passphrase. Now backups are encrypted to protect the confidentiality. Now the thing is that you can generate your own passphrase, or you can let Microsoft generate it for you, which is typically a GUID. Now you specify where do you want to save it. Now in this case, I'm going to save it into the desktop, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to do it on your production environment, because if this is lost, then nobody can recover your data. You need this passphrase to restore data. Even Microsoft cannot help you with that. And this is exactly what it is telling me, that you have selected the passphrase on your local machine. It's not good, but you want to continue. Well, no one cares, so I am going to save the file on the machine. And now it is going to register. It's contacting the vault over the internet, and trying to register the server itself. Now while this is happening, I'll show you how it looks like on the Azure side. So um, that's my this is my vault where it is trying to register itself. If you click on the backup items, so if you see Azure virtual machines, this is another virtual machine that I am backing up, but this is the native Azure backup. I'm not using the file backup here. So this is not what I'm after. It is the Azure backup agent. So if you look into there's another VM that I have, for which I have created this the file level backup, and it actually tells you that this is, I'm backing up C drive, and this is my virtual machine, and the last backup performed at this level. And you can go into the granular details about what is the latest, what is the oldest, how many copies do I have, and what kind of backup that I'm taking. Here you can see its file and folders. Let's go back. It's still registering, and I'll pause this video till this thing is done.